So, Bobby, great to be talking to you. Unbelievable season and year for the club on and off the field. 103 points, 31 wins, 19 clean sheets, 89 goals. The stats are amazing. Five defeats only, all on less than a third of the wage bill that the highest wage bill in the same division had. And add to that, then you're a million positive from transfers. So at a time when you're spending less money, you're doing better on the field. And that kind of sits in beautifully with an interview I saw with Liam Scully, where he talked about, money not just being the only asset that is available to you, and that when you're in a position where you don't have the big budgets like everybody else, that you have to look to these other assets and maximize the use of them. So about utilizing all of the resources at the club, and obviously you guys on and off the field have done that spectacularly well to finish, as the league winners, be automatically promoted with a game or two to go in the bag. It was astounding when you look at the stats and you look at the relativity of other clubs' positions. So, how has the reaction been to that? It has to be phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I think, first off, massive credit has to go to Liam, Jez, the coaching staff and the players, because what they've achieved this season is nothing short of incredible. What they've managed to pull off, not just for the football club, but for the city and the wider county is incredible. So yeah, we're super proud of the job they've done, and I think everyone now is excited for what comes next. We've obviously had some good celebrations, but now we look at how we continue to grow and how we continue to develop, not just on the pitch but off the pitch as well, as you mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. And you kindly invited me over for one of the last games of the season against home to Wickham, and we got a chance to savour walking around the city, to savour the mood. And it was incredible that everybody is infected by this, and you can see the reaction. People getting much more interested, so obviously it's drawing more attention. More people want to be involved as supporters. You didn't outspend your rivals, but you outthought them. You looked at innovation, and it became a club-wide philosophy from what I saw when I visited, that it wasn't just about the playing stats, the player stats, everything on the pitch. I could see that and not just technology either. It was every process in the place was examined and looking for marginal gains, and I think it might have been Alex Ferguson who said at one time, it's all the quarter percents added together that make the difference, and that was clearly visible when we went there. So the facts and the stats don't lie, and when you gather up all this information, etc., about players, about behaviours, about opposition, about all of that kind of stuff on the field, but off the field as well, I think it was evident that you guys are very data driven and dealing in facts.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, especially a club of our size, we have to try and find ways in which we can, be better than our competitors. And on the pitch, there's a number of ways that, in terms of how that looks, and the detail that Jez and the coaching staff go into is incredible. Unbelievable amounts of detail that they go into, and data to win games at the end of the day. And for us off the pitch, I guess a similar thing where whether it be commercial, whether it be marcoms, whether it be operations, every single person across the football club is always looking at how we can use data, how we can use technology to ultimately make ourselves more efficient and win. We want to win off the pitch as well as on the pitch, and I think what we've managed to build here over the last many years, but especially this season, that's accumulated in such success, is a group of people that want to win, and a group of people that want to really drive forward success and drive forward everything that we've seen this season at the football club. So yeah, for us, especially commercially, we're always looking at data. We're always looking at how we can use technology to make ourselves more efficient, how we can reach more businesses, reach more people, and ultimately drive more revenue for the football club, because we understand that the better we can do that, we'll have an impact on the pitch, and hopefully the success on the pitch. So yeah, I suppose everyone's aligned at the football club, and I think that's again massive credit to Liam and the ownership, and everyone kind of at exec level, for how the club operates, and yeah, everyone's singing off the same hymn sheet, which is really important.
Brilliant. And it was evident to us from the very first time we engaged with you guys, that it was clear what you wanted to achieve, and you weren't being driven by technology. We see a lot of, you see a lot on LinkedIn, etc., where it's product focused and product pushing and product driven and etc. But when we met you guys, it was clear that there was a kind of a business position that was being taken that you wanted to achieve, and in that it was improving the processes, it was improving, as you say, the level of outreach, the quality of outreach. Knowing more means that you can achieve more, and we've taken a lot from that. We've taken a lot from our journey with Lincoln City and Solgari, so we have kind of put that into processes that we bring everywhere we go now, and we've applied it fantastically well with the Atlanta Falcons in the NFL, to build the next phase of delivery for them, so that insights get deeper and deeper and the effects get greater. But yeah, we loved the fact that you wanted to start on the commercial side using Solgari, and that you wanted to increase the number of business outreaches that you have, the success rate that those outreaches were driving. So the metrics associated with those, we're obviously delighted that they went in the right direction, as well as everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's been pivotal in terms of, especially commercially off the pitch this season. We've delivered. Now we're north of 216% increase in business partnerships, which is absolutely the numbers that we want to be achieving, and a big part of that has been down to the technology stack, and Solgari being a key part of that in terms of our outreach and our outbound approach. We believe that if we can be really informed about every business we speak to, and have as much data and insight as possible before we reach out to a company, and then have the tools to be able to do that at scale, we can be really effective with, one, reaching out to people, businesses and brands, but then two, converting them into a partner or sponsor of Lincoln City Football Club. So what we're super excited about is continuing to do that, continuing to drive our processes and drive everything that we're doing at the football club, and of course having Solgari at the heart of that is super exciting for everyone.
Yeah, great, and we're super excited to be involved, and we're looking forward to sitting down and planning the kind of the next phase of delivery and how we improve even further. But what I loved about it was, our kind of credo of capturing all the conversational data, whether it be for fan engagement, or whether it be for commercial outreach engagement and commercial partner engagement. The essence of it is the same thing. If you capture all of the conversational data across all the channels that are relevant, because customers and partners like to use different channels, let them have the flexibility, and that's why Solgari cater for everything. So grabbing all of that into the center place, so that it's constantly and in real time being enriched, and allowing for your next conversation, be that an inbound from a fan or an outbound to a commercial organization, allowing that to be being cognizant of that, so that you're building on what the last conversation yielded, and that intel is vital to us. So when we met you, and that was at the heart of what you wanted to achieve, that you saw that the iron bar between you and your commercial partners, and the iron bar between you and your fans, was a common understanding and a common data set, because the customer, the fan, or the commercial partner will always know what their business is and what they want to talk about. It's very difficult for you to know about all of them. So for you to want to achieve that was music to our ears, and then the fact that we were able to pull this together with you was fantastic. And then the metrics that you're talking about are amazing. So it proves that facts and data do speak for themselves.
100%, and we're really heavy here in terms of metrics and data, and not just from an informative perspective, but from an accountability perspective. We know, especially, linked to our kind of partnership with Solgari, that, this season we've reached out to over 10,000 businesses, which is, a huge number of businesses that we've managed to speak to. Every single one of those businesses, we've captured those conversations. It's fed back into our CRM system. So, one, for me, when the team are reaching out to businesses, I can see actually what they're saying in the conversations they're having. So, from a performance management perspective, and, from a team training perspective, I can be really, informed on that. Solgari, the bit that I love the most is after you've had a phone call with someone, the technology with Solgari actually shows you the energy level that you had when you spoke to them, which, yeah, I think is incredible in terms of the transcript. So, I know that in sales and in the commercial world, you need to be about a 7 or 8 out of 10 when you're speaking to a business and you're trying to close a deal. So, if one of my team have been on a phone call with a prospect and they're showing a 2 out of 10, which the technology tells us, then, we know we need to have a conversation and look at that. So it's even down to that level of detail in terms of the energy that we're speaking to partners with, that we're able to track now, which I think is incredible. So, there's that side, and then, we know, for example, this season our conversion rate is sat at around 60%, which is high, especially for kind of industry average. We know our average deal age, for example, is 31 days, etc., etc. We've got a real handle now on every single metric that contributes to driving revenue at this football club.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I just love hearing you trot out all these numbers, because at the end of the day, they're the cornerstones that we can operate effectively from. And then, of course, phase two for us as a combination is increasing the access that AI can have to all of this data. And, what we've seen everywhere we've gone is that AI is only as good as the data it gets its hands on. And you can put Einstein in the corner of a room and give it half data and you'll get the wrong answer, and it's not Einstein's fault. So for us to be capturing every single piece of intelligence out of every single conversation and bringing that into a central place so that it can be made intelligence can be applied to that from AI is important. And so one of the exciting things that we're looking forward to in phase two is applying more AI, and we've got some great stuff that we're going to show you soon on top of this, which will increase the insights further. And I think that's what it's about. I loved when I was listening to Liam Scully's interview recently, where he was talking, he mentioned the word insight lots of times. And, insight means that you behave more accurately. And so, that's exciting from our point of view, that we're on this journey. We've proven the first step, and we can take the second step together. And then, of course,
I was going to say, John, I think, insights for us are super important, because, common sense would tell you the more insight you have when you speak to a prospect or a partner gives you a better idea and understanding of when is the best time to speak to them. So, for example, we'll get insights and intel about from maybe a previous conversation that's been captured, or from a news article, or some of the technology that we have, that a brand or a business that we want to work with has done something. They've had a strategic shift in their business, which tells us that that's then the right time to go and speak to that brand. For example, if a brand that we know is on our target list, they have an expansion in their company, or they launch a new product, or they launch a new a new campaign, then we know that strategic shift is the perfect time for us to contact them to go and do a sponsorship deal. So in terms of propensity of closing a deal and driving revenue for the football club, tracking those insights becomes really important in terms of when, how high up that propensity scale a certain brand or prospect is. So, when you talk about insights, that's something that we're super aligned on. And I think, there's 4 key things in terms of driving revenue that I really believe in. So value, volume, velocity, and conversion. And this is where, again, the Solgari relationship and the technology stack that we operate is super important. So, value, how much value are we driving from our assets? Because there's obviously only a certain amount of assets that we have. velocity and this is where Solgari and the technology becomes really important, because the quicker we can speak to people, the more revenue we can drive, and the quicker we can drive revenue. In terms of conversion, again, through the technology and through insight, the more insight we have, the better our conversion rate. And then in terms of value, velocity, volume, and conversion. So in terms of volume, again, the technology is super important. So being able to have automation and technology where we can speak to a vast amount of businesses to again drive our conversion rate is again massively important. So I think to round all of that off, the technology stack we operate and the Solgari relationship massively influences those four metrics, which massively influence our ability to drive revenue.
Fantastic. No, we're delighted with that, and it's great to see the reality of it. I hate people talking about technology, features and functions. It doesn't excite me at all. But it's almost just to hear the impact. I sort of don't care. I don't want to hear about the technology anymore. I just want to apply it. And so we're finding more and more of that actually all the time, as we go forward, that people are talking about, can I do what Lincoln City are doing? Can I do what the Atlanta Falcons are doing? Can I do what Mitsubishi are doing? They're achieving these goals, and you increasing your outreach rate, you increasing your commercial success from having a higher volume and more accuracy in it by 216%. That's the music. That's all that matters. So and of course, beautiful when you think you're moving into a highly competitive league. I mean, Liam was talking about moving from the league you're in into the championship, is going from the 37th graded league in Europe to the 7th graded league in Europe. And we know, like, next season you're going to be playing West Ham, and teams like this. This is the big league. It's so important, and the financial rewards are much better, etc. But the underscoring all of this with that accuracy, you're again going to compete with animals that are much bigger, and effectively.
Absolutely. And that's where, again, especially commercially, we're really looking at now how we use AI and our technology to compete and to win, because again, we know that as we move into the championship, which is of course the jump and leap in league is vast, it's material. So we know even more so than before we need to be more informed and more efficient, and all of the above to be able to compete at this level. So again, from a commercial perspective, we're now moving into a landscape where we're going to be competing with clubs in the championship for brands and for partnerships. So again, using technology and using AI and insights, the more informed we are about potential prospects and brands, the quicker we can reach them before our competitors to be able to close deals and drive revenue for the football club. So again, that use of AI and that use of insights, which we're really aligned on, becomes even more important now. We've taken a step up to the next league.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I visited Lincoln and we were walking around the evening after the great win against Wickham, where it was fantastic to see Jack Moylan score the winning goal and etc. It was brilliant. But it was clear that people that are not normally associate themselves with football had caught the bug, and everybody wanted to be involved. And then, that success allows you to, if you like, branch out or add layers of potential commercial activity. And Liam talked about you building this conference facility at the ground, so that for the first time, non-football type revenue can be brought into Sincil Hill, and it's going to be very exciting. And we know the impact that has, because if you look at where with the Falcons, we refer to the Falcons all the time, but it's also Atlanta United and the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And I was hugely surprised at how much footfall, concerts drive, like they drive concerts and conferences, etc., drive through that facility. And now, because of your success, you're going to move into that space as well, and that's another layer of commercial activity again that needs data to drive it, but hugely a huge part of the growth.
Absolutely agree. That is pivotal, right? And I think, the higher up we go in terms of leagues, the more we can generate in revenue, it becomes super important, because it has a direct impact on the football pitch in terms of what we can spend. So yeah, we absolutely need to continue to find ways to drive revenue. The new non-match day events and hospitality, conferences, concerts, all of that sort of stuff is absolutely in our eye line, and what we want to be hosting and delivering, because the more we can generate, the more competitive we can be on the pitch. And of course, as we've said, going into a league that's so materially larger and more competitive, we've got to really push to compete. And I think super exciting times. There's a lot going on. The club, the ownership, the exec team, everyone at the club is super ambitious to keep growing, keep improving, and compete at the highest level.
Absolutely. And I love that you've got the foundations beautifully in place over a substantial number of years. I know we've only started to participate in the last while, but we can see that the quality core is building. And I loved what you said when we met in Lincoln, that every missed conversation is a missed insight. And that's true across everything, whether it be commercial partners or fans. And we want to continue to ensure that you have absolutely every conversation that you can offer, every single channel, social, voice, SMS, WhatsApp, all of the channels. We're going to be bringing you in a new avatar-based AI capability as well, that I think will really light up the younger fan from an engagement point of view. We've tried and tested it. It's really has an effect. Has all the same powerful technology behind it to capture everything. So yeah, we're very excited to help continue to drive this on.
100%. I think what you've said there around capturing conversations is, and those insights are super, super important. And probably, now as we move forward, and over the last 12 months especially, have been the real backbone to what we've done and what we've delivered commercially. And when we talk about the Solgari partnership, and we talk about capturing conversations, we've had a number of partnerships that have come to fruition, where the captured conversation from maybe 6 months prior has really created an opportunity to then go and drive and close that partnership later on down the line. So we have a number of examples where we've had conversations with brands and businesses. It's not quite materialized at that period of time. Maybe 6 months, 8 months, even later, we've gone back, we've looked at the previous conversations, we looked at the pain points, and we've been able to go in and have those conversations again, maybe when the timing is right, or we have more insight on campaigns or products that brand are launching. And via the insights from the conversation, we've managed to then go in and be really relatable, and have the right things to talk about, to then of course go and get the deal done eventually. So again, we're aligned. We're super excited for this partnership to continue to grow and develop. And from our perspective, we want to keep using technology and the Solgari relationship and insights to massively drive what we're doing, because right now, and especially over the last 12 months, it's been a game changer.
Fantastic, Bobby. Great talking to you. Thanks so much.
Likewise, pleasure.